Love the sense of humor. Mark, I mean, we're talking about your mom, but I haven't asked yet. What's her name?
Genevieve Mary Brennan was her maiden name. She was Irish. Her dad was Irish. Her mother actually was French. And so she married an Italian. So the Italians and the Irish lived fairly close in New York. And so it wasn't unusual for those two people to pair up. And so, but you know, we're all immigrants. So I'm French, Irish, Italian, and German. And yeah, so it was a nice combination.
Genevieve. All right. I need to ask you, why do you think you felt so compelled to take care of her at this later stage?
Well, you know, it's funny. So when you write a book, you really have to go back and you really discover a lot about yourself. Again, I had a really good relationship with her, but also she and my dad were married for a long time until he passed, and they had at times a rocky marriage. They were Catholic and stubborn, and so divorce really wasn't in the cards. But there were some tough times, and so I was the youngest son, the fifth out of the six kids, also the tallest. And so maybe that had something to do with it. But I jumped in a number of times to be, I think, filling the protector role for my mom. And it felt good to do that. And there were times that we didn't get along so great while I was growing up, but I always felt supported by her. She never let me down. And no matter what bad things I did growing up and stuff, she was always there and loved me and forgave me for my discretions and things like that. But as we got older, we became more like friends, and the same with my dad. They would come out and visit me in LA, and sometimes together, sometimes separately, and we had a great time, and I really got to know them. And I took my dad to Italy in 1995 to visit the little village where his father came from. And so we spent 16 days together for us, that was a foreign country. Neither of us spoke Italian. His father didn't teach anybody, any of his kids. But we really bonded during that trip, and it was fabulous. And with my mom, it was like, you know, it's my mom. She deserves better. And I think all moms deserve better. Now, there are some people who have mother issues and things like that. I can understand that. But my mom, I just felt compelled to do it. And I'm not sure exactly what it was. Oh, I will tell you. All right. So you write the book, right? It took me a few years. I needed emotional distance before I could write the book. So I actually wrote the book in France. But I took a lot of notes because I knew I was going to do something with it. I always recorded family history. It's documented it somehow because I didn't want these things lost. And when I was caring for my mom, I was privy to some really fun conversations and moments that I didn't want my siblings to miss out on. So I started recording these things. And so if you look at, let's say, the book, or you hear the story, it seems like I went back to rescue my mother. And in a sense, I did, because I was the one who stepped in, I guess, to take over the full care of her. But upon reflection, when writing the book and also discussing it with people like yourselves and on podcasts and interviews and stuff like that, I think that maybe Mom rescued me.
Wow. How so?
Because at that point, I was never married, again, no children. I was a carefree bachelor. I had the business and stuff like that, but I did a lot of really good things, let's say, in life, but nothing really important. You know, if you have a child and you raise that child and you have a marriage, and those are really important things and big decisions and big responsibilities. I didn't have that. And this situation gave me an opportunity, and I have to thank my mom for that. And I was smart enough and lucky enough to jump on that opportunity because this was the most important um, role, let's say, I played in life. And the biggest thing that I've done in my life was making sure my mother had the best way to leave this earth. And I call it our adventures. Uh, it was 3.5 year. What I captured in the book was our 3.5 year adventure. And when she passed, it was the way to go. She was in her bed. My sister was with me, so she and I were with my mother when she left, and very little pain, and the bed in her bedroom in the house we all grew up in. It was just a lovely way to go, and that yeah, and what came out of it was this certainly these stories and this book has been resonating with a lot of people all around the world, and the critics have loved it and the readers have loved it, and some really nice things have come out of it that I didn't even think about when writing it. I just thought, well, I want to record family history, and and I did put my heart and soul in it, but you never know how the world's going to react to something, and the response has been terrific, and it's lovely. So my mom obviously played a big role in that, and I was lucky enough to seize that moment and run with it. And we had a great time. There were some rough times, of course, but overall, it was lovely.
That's beautiful. That's really, really inspiring. I even got a little bit of goosebumps while you're talking about it. I had Jack Cameron on the podcast last week, and one of the things he said is like it has been proven that one of the most, if not one of the most, if not the most meaningful thing that you can do in your life is have um, art relationships, right?
Yeah.
And we also talk about manhood and why so many men feel lost today, don't have meaning. And he said a good way for men to find meaning is to get more responsibility, and there's no better responsibility than caring for someone else.
Yeah.
And then I brought up the example of my cousin that I mean he's not my son in any way, but just like helping him grow, and he sees me as a role model, right? So as helping him grow and give examples of things that I feel like are healthy and good, like it just fills me with so much joy. But it's a type of joy that you don't get from
Right.
anywhere else. So I can imagine a little bit of what you felt
Mhm.
in a completely different degree, and it's beautiful. It's really inspiring.
Yeah, there are. I'll tell you. Well, I don't know if there's been funny yet, but a funny story. So, I wanted to return dignity to my mother.
Okay.
So the wardrobe and the day of beauty and all that stuff, and cooking good meals and showing her love and making her laugh. But she was like a baby, so she slept a lot during the day, and so I had some skills in building and things like that. So I renovated her entire house during this 3.5 years. I didn't quite finish it before she passed, but